Welcome to the Men on Purpose podcast, featuring dynamic conversations with emerging and established visionary men on purpose. Thanks for joining us today as we celebrate the men on purpose who are committed, creative, courageous changemakers, living their best, most fulfilling life possible. Now, here's the host of Men on Purpose, Ian Lobas.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Men on Purpose podcast. All right, we're getting right into it. No big intro, no crazy stuff. I got my dad sitting across from me right now. And today we're going to talk about fear and risk-taking. Fear and risk-taking. A lot of you have written to me. You love these episodes and you want to hear about big risk, conquering fear, and all that cool stuff. No problem. We're going to dish it out today. And as a reminder, make sure you're subscribing to the Men on Purpose podcast on iTunes, giving us a 5-star rating, a 5-star review. And you want a t-shirt? Hit me up. I got these cool Men on Purpose t-shirts and I'd love to give you one. I'm serious. They're cheesy, but I don't care. I love them. They shine in the sun. Anyway, also hit up ianlobas.com and menonpurposepodcast.com for a ton of free giveaways that we're starting to load up. We've got a video series coming out. We've got a Facebook group and community coming out. Don't hesitate. These things are going to be just more value, more value, more value. You know my 5 E's. Elevate, educate, evolve, empower, and enrich you, the information, your life, however we can. That's our commitment. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Here we go. This is, I don't know what episode this is. This is me and my dad talking about risk and fear. Here we go. All right. So for those of people that have listened all the way, they heard your whole story from young to now you're in the shipping business. But you get this, let's position it so that you're in this place where you're starting to think to yourself, like a lot of these people listening are, I don't want to do this anymore. You're working at a shipping company. It's called Panalpina, and you're a customs broker, which is a pretty elite job. I mean, that's not a common thing. It's like a CPA and a Series 7 combined. Right. And every day you're going in there and you're thinking to yourself, like, what were you thinking to yourself? Why were you thinking you wanted to quit? Because it just sucked, or because you came from entrepreneurial background, or what was it? A combination?
Well, first of all, Ian, thanks for inviting me back.
You're welcome.
I'm glad your audience likes to hear my story.
They do.
Yeah, I'm working for a Swiss-German company called Panalpina. And they had hired me as the import manager. And I started over there, I think it was 1984, something like that. 84, 85. Well, my first day when I walked in, the branch manager said to me, I'd like to introduce you to the import manager. And I looked at him and he looked at me and the lady looked at me. And I'm like, wait a minute, I was hired as the import manager. What's going on here? So anyway, long story short, he wasn't happy with her. And I guess he just didn't have the balls to fire her. So he thought he would hire me, bring me in, and push her out.
Would you become her clerk?
No, I was the import manager officially.
Oh, but were you licensed customs broker at that point?
I wasn't licensed at that time.
Got it.
But I was going for my license. So that went on for a little bit. And finally, this lady decided that she had enough. And it really wasn't happening, and she left. And meanwhile, I was taking the test to get my license and studying a lot. And I remember in our old house down on Central Avenue, Ian, I used to put you to bed. And then I would sit down and read Title 19 of federal regulations. Very exciting.
I don't know how you got through that. I can't even read a paragraph of that.
Very, very exciting read, let me tell you. If you ever get a chance, guys, go to the library and look that up.
Title 19?
Title 19, Federal Regulations, Department of Treasury. Yeah, you have to read that and become familiar with that because a lot of that law is on your test, which you only have 2 hours, 100 questions. Don't let it fool you. Multiple choice doesn't work
tricky.
that way.
Yeah.
It's very tricky. Anyway, I continue to Panalpina, and here's the turning point for me at Panalpina. I actually liked the job itself, the actual operating of the job, and I liked the law, but I didn't like my branch manager because, in my eyes, he was incompetent, and he didn't really know anything. And the only reason he was there is because he must have given somebody at corporate a favor.
Yeah.
So every day became a little bit more miserable, and I was bringing in a lot of business. I saw the money that I was making the company. And finally, I caught on to a really good sales lead. And you all may know this company. I know you use their products, Cisco Foods.
Yeah.
Somebody had given me a sales lead. They said that Cisco Foods was not happy with the current broker they were dealing with, and they were looking to make a change. So I went to my branch manager and I talked to him about it, and he goes, "Well, that's your problem." And I'm like, "Yeah, but this is a lot of business. This could triple our business here." He goes, "We got vacation. Take a vacation, go down there and see them. They're located in Houston."
Oh, right. Okay.
And I'm like, "Well, how about my expenses? Are you going to cover that?" He goes, "No, you're on vacation. I don't cover expenses for vacation."
Dick thing.
So I paid out of my own pocket because
Believed in it.
I really believed that I could get these guys. I knew what they were looking for. It was all food products, and I was very, very, very well based in food products and dealing with food products from another company that I work for. So I did. I flew down there. I went into corporate. I talked to the guys. I sit down, and we talked for a long time. They actually took me out to lunch. I didn't have to pay for it, which was
nice
good since I already paid for the plane ticket and everything else. So they were very, very interested. And of course, you know how corporation is. They'll go, "Okay, we'll talk it over. We'll get back to you."
Right.
I got on the plane. I flew back. I hadn't heard anything for almost 2 weeks. And lo and behold, that phone call came in and said, "What do we got to do to change?" And I said, "Let's get the paperwork ready."
Yeah, I love that.
And I changed them over. And it was about $80,000 a month.
Which 1986.
And sales.
1986.
1986.
It's over $1 million, or it's almost $1 million a year, right? Or it's more than.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah.
It just blew up the Baltimore office. And seeing that I didn't get any reimbursement or anything.
You didn't even get no bonus, no reimbursement?
Oh, we get to that.
Oh, okay.
I did get a bonus. And this is why I really, really decided. But anyway, we'll get to that. So my branch manager, his name was Klaus.
Oh, yeah.
Swiss German. Now, don't get me wrong. I learned a lot from that guy.
Yeah.
I really did.
Well, shouldn't you be learning from anybody and everybody that's in your life? Good, bad, indifferent. You're learning from everybody and how to do things, how not to do things, the right way, the not so right way.
Absolutely. And at the time, I think I had so much anger and resentment from this is I really didn't think it all through how much I had learned.
Yeah.
And the knowledge and the experience. So long story short, he sent a memo to corporate and said, "We got Cisco Foods." My name was never mentioned.
Huh.
I was like, ghost.
Yeah.
But the guy up in corporate who ran he was like vice president of all the import offices throughout the United States. He knew.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "I know what's going on." He goes, "But there's a lot of politics here. I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry."
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. So anyway, we got the business. Things are rocking and rolling. I'm putting in the time. I mean, it's just flowing like water. The shipments are just coming in like crazy. They're happy. I'm happy. And then the holidays roll around and I'm thinking, oh.
When is this, by the way? Is it 86 or 85?
85, 86.
Okay.
86.
86, yeah.
And 85, 86. holidays rolling around, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I might get some acknowledgement at least.
You're right.
So the bonuses come out. They mail the bonuses to your house. I got my check, and I'm thinking, now I'm getting acknowledged.
Yeah.
I open the check.
It's like Christmas Vacation. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's like Jelly of the Month Club.
right. Exactly. Now I'm getting acknowledged. I open the check. I'm all like excited, like, the little boy at Christmas time, opening his presents. And I opened it up and I did a double take, and I'm like, can't be right. That just can't be right. It's $250.
Wow. For $1 million worth of business.
Yeah.
A fourth of 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 a fourth.
Yeah. And at that time, right at that time, my whole attitude changed. I said, he who controls, controls.
Right.
That just went through my mind. And I said, as soon as I get my license, I'm going to start a business.
Yep.
Because I know I can do it. I've already proved to myself I can do it.
Totally.
Even though I was scared to death to do that.
Sure.
That big call, I'd never call in a big corporation like that.
Scary.
I had a lot of scare. I was scared a lot.
Yeah.
Because what if they ask me things, I can't answer it, this and that. But I got it. I got it. So now we're into 1987. I think you're like
Five. No.
Four. And we're living downtown in Baltimore City.
A 10-foot wide house.
Nothing wrong with it. We did this Renaissance house.
Yeah.
Turnkey operation, but it wasn't very big. It's one of the old row houses that was completely redone. It was very nice, but it wasn't very big. So I set to get my license, and of course, it takes a little time once, even to hear that you passed. And I think several months later, I found out that I had passed with a 98.
It's good.
I missed one. It happens.
Out of 100, that's not bad.
No, not at all. And, you got the feds, they got to do the whole background check and all. So it took a while. It took a while to get it through. And I finally got that little piece of paper signed by U.S. Customs, and now I'm official. And now I start looking, and I'm like, I'm going to do this.
But you're not looking for a job. You're looking for space. I'm looking
to start my own business.
Yeah. So let's go through that for a second, because that's the big driver was not being recognized, right? I know a lot of people probably feel that in the corporate world out there. Like, yeah, was that the biggest driver, or what was the biggest driver for you?
I think the biggest driver was among this, me coming in and this guy not having the balls to fire the import manager was there. That was a start for me.
Yeah. Just building your case.
Yeah, that was a start. Like, man, what are you doing? I mean, that's crazy. Who are you? He never told me during the interview. I just showed up in the morning.
Right.
Never told me.
Right.
And she says, hi, I'm the import manager, and wanted to shake my hand. That and other things that would take up a lot of time. That would be a whole nother story that we could get into with this guy. But
were you were building a case, and you started to see that there was a limit here.
Well, I started to see there was a limit, and there was another thing in my mind was in the back of my mind, maybe subconsciously.
Yeah.
Can I do this myself? It was always kind of like, can I do this on my own?
Just a burning curiosity, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then the different steps along the way were getting that big account and things like that.
Sure.
Proved to me that I could do it on my own.
Yeah. And it really only takes that one. You don't have to prove the theory until you exhaust the theory. and you have overwhelming evidence, sometimes you have to jump when you know that there is a landing. You just really not sure how far it is.
Yeah. Well, we're going to tell the story how I jumped. And
Right.
okay. So I decided that I've had enough and I'm going to get this, I'm going to start this business. And I have my license. I can work on my own license. I don't need anybody.
Right.
And at that time, you were probably still around 4, and your mother had a back operation.
Yeah. A spinal fusion.
Yes. And she was on a body cast.
Yeah. Back in the late 80s, that's not it's not like it is today where you walk out of there or
Right.
you're in the hospital for a couple of days. It's a body cast.
Yeah. You're not moving.
Yep.
And we just bought a house.
Yeah. Which was way out of your price range too. For that time, well, not with your job, but as an entrepreneur it was.
Yes.
Yep.
That's starting a business from scratch.
Yep.
I think our mortgage was $1,100 a month, which doesn't sound much.
That's a lot actually
Now,
though.
It was a lot back then.
Yeah.
And we had a little bit of savings, but not much.
Yep.
So we just bought a house. I took a week's vacation to get everything settled, move into the house. And then your mother had a surgery and was in the living room in a hospital bed with a body cast. And then I told your mother, I said, I'm going to start my own business. And she just looked at me.
Yeah.
I told my neighbor I was going to start my own business.
No, I remember this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I'm 4.5. This is like May of 2000 or 1987.
87. Right.
And I remember I was sitting on the bed. I mean, imagine Google, if for those of you that are too young to even know what a body cast is, because I don't think they body cast people anymore,
I don't
right?
do those anymore.
Like go Google a body cast, full body cast, and you'll be. It's like I don't know what movie. Yeah,
It's like 2 pieces that for the back and one for the front, and they kind of like snap it together.
Right, and you can't move. You're stuck for a while, weeks. And I remember sitting there and you the way I remember it is you said, I quit my job, but I think that's another time actually when you had said, I was sitting there both times and you said to Mom, I want to quit my job. I think I'm going to start my own business.
Right.
And I think she flipped out.
Yes.
Which anybody would do in that situation. She has no control and she's a controller and she has no control in a body cast and a 4-year-old and a new house and a mortgage.
The only good part is she couldn't hit me or chase me.
Yeah, right. But what I learned from that at that moment was you got to share your vision with people. You got to share what you're going to do.
Yes.
And people think I'm crazy. Listen, let's get one thing real straight. I share my vision, not the build. Like if any of you have followed me over the last couple months that I've been building out in Los Angeles, all you see is pictures of sunrises and sunsets. You don't see anything. I'm low, right? So you share your vision with everyone. So the universe is now holding you accountable and so are they. But then you build in silence. I think that's my theory.
That's a good theory.
Yeah. I mean, my new business, not my real estate business.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I told a couple of neighbors. And one neighbor said, are you nuts? You just bought a house and your wife's in a body cast and she's not working. And you got a 4-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just something I got to do. I got to do it. I don't want to go to my grave saying I should have done it and I never did it. And I just got to do it. And I know the universe will look out for me. If it doesn't work out, then something else will work out.
But you also have a customs broker's license, which is not prevalent. It's rare. So if it didn't work out,
it's marketable.
It's marketable. And you can put that on the resume and a big broker will hire you or a big outfit will hire you in a heartbeat. Right. But if you don't go for it, you'll never know.
No, you'll never know.
Like for you, I'm going to say for you listening right now in your car or at the gym or taking a run, like this is for you. This is the universe telling you, if you don't go for it, you'll never know.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. I'm not saying recklessly go for it.
No.
But there's a way that if you have that burning desire, then there is a way that you can lay it out and go for it. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Maybe not the way you would do it, but
Yeah, but I learned it from you.
It worked for me.
Yeah.
So I went back to work at Panalpina, and at the time I didn't have computers. That tells you the age, right?
It's hyped up.
I'm all hyped up and I'm excited.
How old were you? 34?
Probably.
Yeah, you're born 53, 34.
33, 34.
Yep.
And then I also called my dad and I said, I'm going to start my own business. He goes, welding? I said, no, not welding. I said, no, I don't, I like welding, but I don't want to do it full time. So I told him, and he really didn't know what I was talking about. He goes, well, if you feel you can do it, just why don't you try it? You're a young man, try it.
Yeah. Wait, let me ask you a question. What about the people that are naysayers out there that aren't entrepreneurs? They're full-time employees. They love it. That say, but what, Glenn, that was really irresponsible of you. You had a kid and a mortgage and a new mortgage and a wife and a body cast who wasn't bringing in an income. Wasn't that irresponsible? And I know I know the answer already, but what's your response to that?
Well, my feeling is if that's what you're saying, then you're not ready,
right,
to do this.
Yep.
You're not a true entrepreneur. I mean, if you're gonna, say I've got my paycheck, I've got my benefits, I've got this, I've got that. Okay, so maybe you're better off with a job.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you choose.
I'm going to tell you, it's not easy.
No,
it's not easy. You don't just say Friday was a slow week and where's my paycheck?
Right.
You have to earn that paycheck, but it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
it's very fulfilling. So you really have to sit down and you have to soul search and look in your heart, and you have to really say to yourself, this is what I really want to do, and I'm willing to take that chance.
Do you remember what you told me when I left your shipping company and I was going to start the real estate business? And I said to you, Mayor and Mayor's mom kind of sat me down and said, you need to be responsible. You need to go get a job. It's highly irresponsible for you to be teaching swimming lessons for $10 an hour and pretending like you're going to build some business.
Yeah.
Remember what you said to me?
Yeah. And hair was burning off your arms.
Yeah. God. Oh my God. That pool. I wish I could say the name. I won't do that. But I wish I could say that place is horrific.
I think it closed down.
I hope so.
I think I said
remember that burned the hair off my whole body.
Oh, did?
Oh yeah, from the water line down, I was hairless.
I remember you were happy because you got all the hair off your back.
Yeah, up to my shoulders because the water was 5 feet. So you remember what you said?
You got to do what makes you happy.
And you said it's irresponsible for you not to follow your dream.
Correct.
You'll be irresponsible as a husband and a provider and someone who chases after their dreams.
Correct.
It's actually irresponsible for you to go get a job.
That's correct.
And I was like, and I looked at Mayor, and Mayor was like, fuck. All right, here we go, buckle in. But you know what? Mayor was the kind of the final straw that said, when I said, look, I think I'll get a job at Wegmans, it's the stock and bananas. One of my friends worked there, and he's like, I'll give you a job, dude, in a heartbeat.
I remember that.
And I thought, well, I know things. I can do things. Maybe I'll work my way up to management. It's the only time I've ever thought about getting a job, except for the job at the swimming lessons because I was in a weird space. But like, when I said to Mary, maybe I should just get a job. After I this whole argument, like maybe I should just get a job, and she said no, because that's not who I married. I didn't marry a loser. She was talking about me, by the way. Just because you have a job doesn't make you that. That's your choice. No, she was saying for me, because the man that she knew and married is not a giver-upper or a loser, right? If you say something and then you give up on it, then you means you've given up. And maybe that makes you a loser. I don't know. But in Mayor's mind, in my mind, it did. And so she was saying, I didn't marry a person that gives up on their dream. So if you really think that you can do this, I'll back your ass up for a little bit. I'll give you till the end of the year. You make some money by the end of the year, you can stay in it. If not, you go get a job. And so I got a time frame, which is what you need, a time frame to work within, and a burning desire.
Right. I had a time frame also.
Yep.
1 year. But
do you have enough money for 1 year to last?
Yeah, but I used it all up.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't go the conventional route. I didn't have a father that said, okay, here's $100,000, start your.
Right.
I didn't go the conventional route. I didn't have any real substance of money to put into this business. So I went to the bank.
Yeah. I wish you would have given me $100,000 to start my real estate business.
Yeah. So I went to the bank and I sat down with the bank. I've been banking with them. I think it was Maryland National.
To wear a suit.
Yeah, I got dressed up.
Yeah, you used to back then.
Yeah, I got all dressed up. Went to the bank. I had my business plan together, and sat down with the guy and said, "This is what I want to do." And he goes, "What's a custom house broker?"
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're in trouble already. But anyway, I explained everything to him, and he goes, "Sounds like a great plan." And he says, what kind of money are you looking for? I said, "I'm going to need at least 50,000, 100,000 to get this thing going." And he goes, "Well, here's the problem. You just bought a house,
Yeah.
and our policy here is we don't finance businesses until you have proven to us that you can be in business for a year."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, how can I start the business if you won't give me any money to start the business?
Right.
And he said, "I'm sorry, I can't help you."
When did you make your business plan, by the way? Was that months ahead? Was it days ahead? When did you decide to do that? Write it out.
I started, I actually started, I think, the first day when I went to Panalpina, and I'm like, I don't like this.
You just knew
How it could be done.
Yeah.
And as I stayed at Panalpina, I just kept putting things together, and I kept looking at the market and seeing if there were some holes in the market, because it's like anything, it's very competitive, but there are little holes, little niches that you can get yourself into and get in and then build from there. But I didn't get any money. So I kind of put the word out with a person that I knew who worked for the Mail and Port Administration. Nice lady. I'd known her for a long time. And she said, "Well, I'll talk to some of these guys and see, if they're interested."
Yeah.
And I carved it in a niche way that I wouldn't be competing with them on the ocean freight side. I saw that there was a niche in the air freight side.
Yep.
And that all these guys were using a courier to run their documents back and forth was expensive.
Yeah.
And if I could niche in that way and get immediate sales,
Yeah.
and drop their cost, they might go for it.
So instead of couriering docs around to a customs broker and back to the airport and all that stuff,
I'm just there.
You would be basically their in-house, but they would be your finance team to help you start the business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to get creative sometimes.
Yeah. And
a lot of you got to get creative a lot.
so I got a call from a guy, and his name was Don. You remember Don?
Oh yeah.
He had a travel agency.
Yeah.
And really nice guy, been in business a long time, old school.
But a travel agency, he wasn't in shipping?
He had shipping.
Oh, right.
But he started a travel agency because he's going to retire from the shipping business and use his travel agency to travel.
Right.
At discount.
Yep.
That's cool. So we had a meeting. I talked to Don, and he said, "It sounds like a great idea. I've got some air shipments that I've spent a lot of money running papers up and down because you had to clear the shipment to the airport at the time."
Yeah.
There were no computers at that time.
Typewriters.
Trust me. There were typewriters. Boy, could I type.
We still have that typewriter, by the way.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's with your mother's coat.
Oh, shit. That means it's gone.
Probably is. But yeah, I talked to Don. I said, he goes, "What's the minimum if I gave you like a small, if I carried you for a year and gave you a small salary, so you got the thing really rolling, what's the minimum amount of money you would need?" I said, "Probably I could do it on 25 grand.
Yeah.
He goes, "I don't have one."
Really?
He goes, "I don't have 25 grand to put into it. It's a flyer to me. It might work. It might not work. I don't want to really go in that direction." And he goes, "But I got some guys. Maybe we get yourself some partners together."
Yeah.
He goes, I'd be willing to put 5 up. If you can find, I'll find some other guys. If they put 5 up, we come up with 25.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. I ended up with 4 partners.
Yeah.
5,000 apiece. And we started Ian International.
Right.
Just doing air freight. That was it.
And so for those people who see my stickers or the stuff that I have online or anything like that, it is not named after me. It is, and it's not.
It is.
And it's not, because it's an acronym. It is named after me, and it's not just my name. It's an acronym, which is what your blue ocean was inside the red ocean, which was air freight. That's for International Air Network.
Correct.
Right.
But later down the road, when you got older, remember what you said to me?
No.
I'm glad you named it after me, because I would have sued you if you would have.
Right.
Just kidding.
No.
So here I am, and they got me a used desk. They got me a copier that sounded like an airplane taking off.
Yeah, it was
and
early days.
Little one room that I was in, like a 10 by 10, and we were off and running.
Yeah.
And I was scared.
Yeah.
I was a little worried, but I had a lot of confidence that I could do it.
But before that, what about the typewriter in the back of your car?
You want to go there?
Yeah, of course. That's the
okay.
You got to remember,
I'll go there.
Everybody that talks to me always hears stories about you and what I learned from you watching you as a 4-year-old start a business. Like my daughter, your granddaughter, watches me build and run and start businesses. So I'm very cognizant as a parent and an entrepreneur to what I'm saying and teaching her, because she's me with you. And I learned from you, and I took those lessons, and they became granite inside of me, and like taking chances and building your plan and casting your vision to everybody, and taking a risk and believing in yourself and having confidence in you, even if nobody does, whatever, or finding your confidence in you from someone else who has confidence in you if you don't have it in you. So yeah,
staying positive.
Staying as positive
even
as you
when
can.
Things get turned upside down and go sideways, and they will.
Right.
That's all a part of the journey of being a business for yourself.
Let's back up for a second. Hold the car. Back up for a second, because now the business is started, but this isn't there was a pivotal point in my life where when you came home and said to Mom, I quit my job and I'm starting this business. Because I remember that.
Yes.
I'm sitting on the hospital bed. I mean, what else was I supposed to do? Like, she's there. I think Mom had a nurse there.
Yes.
Right. It was a nurse there too.
Yeah, it was a lady there with her.
Yeah. And I remember like her freaking out at as you can in a body cast.
Yeah.
And what I remember was you just gotta know. You gotta know. And you said, look, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And I'll be miserable knowing that I could have, and I never took the chance.
Yes.
And that shit burned into my brain.
Really? At 4 years old?
You know that.
Woo.
Yeah. It burned into my brain that here's the other thing though. Maybe in my older age, I know like I now I now say I'll never get a job. And you've always kind of burned that into me anyway. But like, now I'm thinking I have to take risks to keep up with you, right? Because I'm following in the entrepreneurial footsteps, but I don't get it and I don't know. But now I've got to take risks.
Right.
And I also realized then that that school wasn't going to help me. No joke. Like literally in first grade, and like when I got to first grade, I realized that this wasn't for me. It really wasn't. It wasn't. If it were today, I know you would have pulled me out of school and we would have done homeschool and traveled the world. But like, because you could have done everything online. But back then, you went to school.
There was no online.
No, you went to school. So anyway, that I want you to know that, because you know that, but maybe you don't remember it enough. But that burned into my brain.
No, I don't really don't remember it. I mean,
even if you're scared, like it's the same thing we teach Ellis. Even if you're scared, I know I can do this. and I just have to give it a shot. I just have to give it a shot. And like, I count the evidence, not the emotion, and I let fear push me, not hold me back.
Well, also, I never had, neither did my father, neither did my uncle. They're all entrepreneurs. They all had all kinds of different little businesses going on. I never had the word failure to mean anything to me.
Right.
Because the way I looked at it, it was just an experience. Now, as we all know, there are consequences to all your experiences, positive or negative.
Sure.
But we just have that drive that we got to try it.
Yeah.
I got to try it. I just want to see what it's like. It's like, you know, you go and you want to touch that little thing and go, I just want to feel it. Will it burn me? I just want to see what it's like. And that's a little curiosity there.
Yep.
There's also something else inside you as an entrepreneur that says, I know I can do it. Just watch me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the haters fuel your fire.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting in the school culture, the experimentation, except in like maybe science class, and the curiosity is not actually, maybe it is today, I don't know, I'm just going by my schooling, it is not fueled. It's frowned upon.
Yeah.
You know, just I wonder what that does. I wonder what I could do if I did that.
Yeah. I think it suppresses
curiosity.
Suppresses it. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
Because you also build that fear into you in school, at least from what I saw.
Like if you take a chance, you could get in trouble.
You get in trouble.
Yeah. And then it builds a habit, mindset around, I do this hurts, this gets pain, this creates pain.
And the thing is, once you tell someone that enough times,
right,
you begin to believe it, whether it's real or not.
But that's also that person's beliefs being projected into you. They're not your beliefs.
They're not.
You know, because mom doesn't think the same way that you do.
No.
But she supports you just like Mare supports me.
Yes.
It's regardless of what they feel in terms of fear, you have to make a choice. You either support or you don't.
Yes.
Or it doesn't work for the entrepreneur.
Correct. Here's the other thing. You have to have your family support.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go into business for yourself and you strike out and your wife says, oh my God, no, don't do that.
It's in your mind.
In your mind, you're going to have some problems because that's always in your mind that you don't have that element of support. You have to have it because things are like a roller coaster. You're up, you're down, and you need someone to share those things with.
Yeah. Especially the scary.
Yeah. And get that support and to tell you it's going to be all right. We're going to figure this out. So let me get back to the car. I had a Volkswagen Scirocco. Nobody knows what that is.
No, they do. The Volkswagen community guys do.
Okay. Yeah. So you know what a Scirocco is. It's,
hatchback, two-door.
So I'm trying to get a place to open my office. And it seems like the community down at the airport were very well knit. I'm talking about my competitors, and they were blocking me. So nobody would rent to me. And I thought, well, you know what? I got a typewriter, and there's a place that used to be a little carryout place, not there anymore. 7-Eleven. It's called Twin Oaks. It's family-owned business. We used to call it Twin Roach. Because some of the food came out of there. And
it's questionable.
That's another story. But they had a whole bank of payphones. Keep in mind, guys, there are
no cell phones.
There's no cell phones here. There's no cell phones.
Well, there was a bag phone back then, right? 1987.
I couldn't afford a bag phone.
Right. Like 10 grand.
Yeah. I eventually got a bag phone.
I know. I remember that bag phone.
But I used the pay phones. And that was my communication. I would tell my customer, I'm in between getting an office, so just call this number at a certain time, or I'll call you. And that's how I worked for over a month.
And you didn't need power. You didn't need power. So
No, it's mechanical.
yeah, you just sit in your car, in the back of your car, and you
Yeah.
can type.
Well, I cut a piece of plywood and I put it in the back.
Yeah.
That was my table. And then I got some milk crates from the Twin Oaks, and they let me use those and put my files in.
You remember when I went with you? You know, I have a memory that's
Your
exact.
memory. I think I'm present. I must be getting old because I remember all this stuff.
Yo, you're remembering so many details. That was 30 plus years ago.
know.
So like I'm only that age.
I know. Oh, and you know, my travel experience has been so much that
Right.
I don't know how much I can keep in my brain.
But I also didn't have a lot. I didn't have brothers and sisters. I didn't have a lot of other stuff. Like we weren't, you guys weren't entertaining every weekend. There wasn't a lot of distractions. So I was like, mom was, she was in the body cast. So I latched on to you, right? Because I needed somebody to like talk to and
Right.
and I was a little hyperactive. So if you look at Ellis today, she's the same way, isn't she?
Yes.
But she's not, but it's not a thing. It's just how a kid is, right? Because that's now how we know kids. Kids are like a little hyper, whatever.
Right.
I think I was probably a little worse. But you took me with you one day, and I remember looking at this is like June of 1987. And I was 4.5 years old, exactly. And I remember looking at, like, giving you a weird look. I see everything in the third perspective, by the way. So I remember giving you a weird look, and you said, hey, you got to do what you got to do to make it work until it works. And I locked that in too.
No kidding.
Yep. That's why I lived in the warehouse. I just had to do what I had to do.
I didn't know it was so influential.
Well, that's one of the big
at that age with business.
Well, that's what it wasn't business. That was your life. And you were the only person that was mom's laying in a hospital bed. So I'm disconnected. So the only person I really connect, I had family, but I didn't have family who really like cared deeply about me.
Yeah.
So, I had your dad.
Right.
And Aunt Patty, but we weren't there every day. So it was you that I was focusing on. So I think one of the big lessons here is to the audience who are parents is you got to really watch your kids are watching you a lot closer than you think.
Yeah.
A lot closer. Because I carry that same stuff today. Like, I have a lot of coaching clients who I help quit their jobs and start businesses. And the first thing I say to them is, are you married? Girlfriend, boyfriend, anything? Yeah, married, wife, cool. Does your wife support this thing wholeheartedly? Like, I believe in you, I trust you, go for it. And they go, yeah, and you go, you got nothing to lose.
Right. That's the first thing you got to ask.
Nothing to lose.
That's the first thing. If you're going to do this, that's the first thing you have to ask yourself.
Right.
Also, you have to be truthful when you talk to your girlfriend, spouse, or whatever.
Right.
You have to be truthful that lay it out. This is what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Because if you sugarcoat it, it's not going to work. You won't get the support. Tell them all the bad stuff, all the good stuff.
Yeah, and it's so one of the and Meredith and I will talk about this on another episode that we do, but that's like your spouse has to also be in a growth mindset, not in a scarcity mindset. Or in abundance versus scarcity, but also a growth mindset, because you need them to understand what you're doing and not just be reacting off of fear.
Correct.
Right. Which I learned because mom would react off of fear sometimes, right? Big money, stuff like that. What I also learned was that, I got to be honest. I got to be dead honest, regardless of what Meredith's going to say. If I lost $100,000 or if I made $1 million, I just have to be honest with her, because if she catches me not being honest, even in the very beginning, like, you're building a foundation of trust that can
correct.
You said to me, look, I don't think it's smart for you to go into business with your spouse. When Meredith joined me in business after the first year, you said, but if you're going to do it, give it everything you got, because this thing could be a power up for your relationship, or this thing will sink you fast. It'll be a grenade to the marriage.
Correct.
So either way, you're not going to exist. You're not going to be business partners and just be existing. you're going to skyrocket the relationship or you're going to grenade it. Your call.
Right. They're going to live this with you.
Right.
Every day, every minute, they're going to live this with you.
Yeah.
And the other thing, this is for maybe the single people. If you're thinking about doing this and you really want to do it, the person that you're dating or you're with, make sure that they can handle something like this.
Right.
Because it's not easy being a partner or married to an entrepreneur.
Right.
Because we change in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
We flip flop all over the place, and that's just us. And there are some people that are, they want that security.
Yep.
100%.
Totally.
Every day. And if they don't get that, then your relationship's just gonna explode and sink.
Yep.
So it's not gonna do you good. You get into a business and everything's doing great, and then your spouse or the person that you're with comes up and goes, I can't handle this.
No, it's too much pressure.
I'm gone.
Yeah. And now you're splitting it.
Now you're splitting it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Which is fine.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yep.
But, at the time, maybe you could look ahead a little bit.
Yeah, but have conversations with your partner, your spouse, your whoever's in your life.
Right.
And especially if it's a friend you're going into business with, that's dangerous. But
that's very dangerous.
It is what it is. If you want to make that call, it's totally cool.
That's very dangerous.
I am in business with friends today. I've been in business with friends who have royally screwed me over. And it doesn't change my trust. It changes my approach and my expectation set and the accountability I hold.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct. I had 4 partners. They didn't screw me over, but they tried to get me out.
Right.
Once I got the business up and rocking and rolling, they saw the money was starting to be made, and they thought, we don't need this guy anymore.
Right.
So luckily it worked out to where I made enough money. I started buying them out one by one. But pick the right partner is not easy.
No.
Or partner.
And you never know, actually.
No, you don't. I mean, you can vet all you want.
No, but you don't know what's going on in their emotional life, in their private life. You don't know if their wife's, screwing around or their dog just died. You don't know.
Yeah, you just don't know that. And I mean, you can do all the vetting you want, but people's lives change as they get further down the road.
Sure.
It could change on you. I once had a friend working for me doing my accounting. He didn't work out, lost a friendship for quite some time. You just don't know. But in any event, sometimes you'll have to take a partner on to get started like I did.
Right.
You have no other choice.
Right.
So we want to get back to the car. I forgot,
go back to the car because
I forgot what you were going to tell me. Your young words of wisdom back then.
My young words of wisdom?
Something you learned I didn't even know you learned.
That's what I told you I learned. Sometimes you just got to make it work. Sometimes you just got to make it work.
Okay.
You got to do what you got to do to make it work. Because I saw it. I'm going to wrap it here because we're going to do a part 2 on this because I want to dive a lot deeper and we're almost at an hour. There's a lot of lessons in just this episode. There's a lot of stuff that people can learn. I mean, you got to also think this is a dad and a son who are both entrepreneurs talking about the businesses and one who learned from the other.
Right.
Right. And then so there's a lot of cool stuff in here. But you said, this is just you talking though. This isn't you sitting me on your knee and saying, son, let me teach you a valuable lesson in life. You just looked at me and said, hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do to make it work sometimes.
Well, this was actually me doing it too.
I know.
It wasn't.
But this is you with a cable spool in your trunk.
I know.
This is weird. To me, even at 4.5 years old, I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
I know. But at the time, it's what I had to do.
I know, but the lesson stuck with me, and I'm 38, and I still have it.
And you still have the cable spool here.
No, I wish I had that damn typewriter, though.
I bet. Yeah, because that was, wow. That was a nice mechanical.
Yeah.
What was that, like a IBM or?
No, it was a.
Somebody gave me that typewriter.
I swear you have that thing. Is it in the closet in your office?
I don't know where it is.
I know you brought it with you when you emptied the storage. I know you got it.
I did. Did I put it in your shed?
No. I don't know. Maybe. Well, we'll find it. But regardless, like, these are not small lessons. Like, they seem really small, but you have to think, like, when the evidence versus emotion is also from you too. Like when I was in real estate, even like 2 years in, I was making really good money and I was successful and I was anxious and scared every day. And you're like, look, there's no evidence for you to think.
Right.
There's no the process of the emotion and the fear. There's no evidence behind that. You're making money. You're doing well. Your fear is in the future of your sustaining and consistency to keep this shit up.
And you're not there yet.
Right. But I didn't want to keep going. I didn't love the business. I loved my clients and I loved making that kind of money.
You were also what-ifing a lot.
I totally what-ifing a lot.
Yeah. And I understand that. And, you can't worry about what happened yesterday.
Right.
Right. Gone. What are you going to do about it? You can't worry about what's going to happen the next day because it ain't here yet.
But it's scary. That's scary.
Because you get in your head and
totally
what if it all the time.
Totally. I agree.
And that's human.
I know.
It's human. It's just not you. It's the people that are listening.
How did you clear that fear out? You had to have been scared, starting your own business and having these partners who helped you to support you and lift you up, but then also kind of turned on you. How'd you come home and be like, oh my God, man, communication wasn't the same. You couldn't just pick up a phone and call somebody from your car and be like, yo, dude, I want to talk to you about.
No, I got.
How'd you manage it?
I listened to a lot of tapes, Tony Robbins.
That's right.
A lot of Tony Robbins tapes, and excuse me, and I got a tape once from him that said, "Feel the fear and do it anyway."
Yeah.
Because I did have the fear. Everybody, it's human nature.
Sure.
I was doing that. I screwed up yesterday. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen? We're going to make enough money to pay the bills. What's going to happen? You can go all the way down that line.
Right.
And just totally paralyze yourself because fear does paralyze you to from moving forward. And I listened to this tape and it said, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Right.
And I don't know how many times I listened to that tape.
A lot. I remember it came in a big like plastic jacket with 12 other tapes in it.
Yeah.
I can hear the crunch of that thing because you even were using that in your, remember that gray 850 or 860 Volvo or 960 Volvo sedan?
Yeah.
With the red interior?
Yes.
I remember the tapes sitting on the seat of that car.
Yes.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of those tapes.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins seemed to, I guess, click with me.
He was also your age at that point too.
It could be.
Yep.
Yeah. And I had already been in business and started getting some bruises and stuff.
Right.
And I felt I had to do something because I needed to clear this out of my head.
Sure.
I heard it on the radio. He was advertising. And I thought, I'm getting a tape. It's $29. I'm going to get the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I would ride up and down the Beltway and listen to it every day. Every day. Every day I would ride up and down the Beltway and listen to it. And then I think that was my turning point with me dealing with fear of anything. Of anything, not just business, of anything.
It's not that you haven't dealt with fear though.
Well, the fear is there.
Yeah.
Always will be because we're human beings.
Sure.
But I learned to control it and to deal with it and turn it into positive rather than getting all these little gerbils in my head going, oh my God, tomorrow's coming. What are they going to do?
Right.
They're going to shoot me in the head. What's going to happen? Oh my God. And that tends to qualm?
No, I don't think that's the right word either.
Well, anyway, those little gerbils running around in my head. I get away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the fear is still there.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody puts a gun in my head, I'm going to have fear.
Yeah.
That's a part of being a human being.
Right.
But I also think you're not born with fear.
No, you learn it from your traumas.
You learn fear.
Yeah. I mean, as we learned, like you had this traumatic event happen when you're 11 years old and you're scared at that point of loss and maybe closeness or connection or trust or something like that.
Oh, guilt too.
Yeah, and you're carrying that stuff with you in every single situation, whether you're buying a Slurpee at 7-Eleven or you're doing a business deal. That is still in your mind.
Yeah.
It's still in your mind.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm just learned to work with it.
Totally.
Rather than just letting it circle around in my mind all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't, those things don't go away, and we shouldn't forget our past.
No.
But we can't dwell on the past. We have to move forward.
Right.
So if something happens to you in your business as an entrepreneur, you can't go, I screwed that up, I'm a failure.
Right.
To me, it's a learning experience. And you have to move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Or what? You sit and die slowly. Right. Really?
You can crawl in the corner and cry all the time. What's that going to get you? It's get you nothing.
Right.
So there's so many opportunities out here that, like yourself, you can do something.
Sure.
Something positive.
Well, look, like we talked about it today. I was successful in your business, the shipping business. And I realized through my growth and development over the years that I didn't feel my fear in that. While we're talking about fear, by the way, we're going to do a part 2 on fear because we can dig deep. And I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this. Is that my fear was that I could never do what you did. I could never see, I had the vision that it was possible, but I didn't have the like systems and operations to understand how to do all of that stuff. My brain just didn't work like that. And so I feel like I could only live the lifestyle that I had become accustomed to from what you had built if I joined you in business. But that wasn't the only reason. I learned that later on as an underlying fear quencher or whatever that I learned through Landmark and through Tony Robbins training and things and studying to be coaches with them. Is I learned that it was a huge fear in me that I could never build the life that you had built for the family on my own. So why not join my dad in business? I'll get a springboard, why start on my own when I can get a springboard? That makes perfect sense. But there was a small piece of inauthenticity that was not known until 2 years ago.
Do you remember when you came, when I had the office down the airport, you came in that one time, you were picking up something, and you said to me, I'm gonna chart my own path.
No, we were standing on I was standing on the pallet jack out in the back of the warehouse, and you came out.
Right.
It was maybe the hardest conversation I've ever had to have.
Yeah.
Because all I thought was, I'm literally putting a gun to my dad's head and he's going to fucking be crushed. Like I was thinking like, I've never been so scared. Because I just didn't want to let you down because I'm like, fuck, this guy's like my only ally, like really ally here. And like, I don't know what if this guy like turns on me? What if he says, you know what, fuck you, get out? I knew you weren't going to do that, but my brain was racing that.
But what I say to you?
Yeah.
Ian, far be it me to tell you not to chart your own path.
Right.
Look what I did.
Right. And that was the supercharge that I needed. And it took me some months to go through, teaching swimming lessons because that was the only thing that I had confidence in as a master swimmer and instructor.
Right.
And then when I started in real estate, I thought that was the path for me.
Oh,
I wanted
at the time it was.
And by the way, for any of you wondering, starting a real estate business, the barrier to entry is extremely low. Like you don't have to raise 25, 50, 100 grand. You don't have to go to the bank to get a loan. You get your license for a couple $100, affiliate with a broker. I mean, some of the brokers will even pay you to be there.
Yeah.
And you can start just mining your database and you'll get deals. Like it's pretty easy actually. But it was the fear when I realized that the real estate business for me, I wasn't in it for me. And I know that sounds weird, but I was in it for my clients and my friends who I was helping because I really cared a lot about them. And it wasn't anymore for me. I wasn't into the business anymore. It was into the money and the people.
I believe at the time you had something to prove to yourself.
Oh, 100%.
That you could do it on your own.
Well, yeah, but also to you.
Yeah, to me.
Yeah. Prove to you that I could do it.
Yeah. and more so. And I was really proud of you.
I know, but here's the thing. If I didn't do it, who would I be, right? I don't have the answers to those questions, but those are what's going on in my head. It's like,
Right.
if I go get a job, am I letting the family down, the family of entrepreneurs that, like, what's my dad going to think? He fucking put all this work in and named the business Ian International. Oh my God. I'm working at a grocery store. Like, I thought about all that stuff. That was real to me.
Yeah. What's your son doing? He's working at a grocery store.
Wow, Glenn.
Banana. And I'm nothing wrong with that.
No. But
After being an entrepreneur, you're like,
right.
What are you doing?
That was like me almost giving up in a way, because I was so scared of the what ifs and the unknowns and the uncertainty, that I'd rather, which like a lot of people would rather have more certainty and not possibility.
Correct.
Than uncertainty and unlimited possibilities. And you don't even remember this saying either. That's tattooed on my freaking arm.
Ellis?
No, limitless possibilities.
Oh, limitless possibility. I remember us talking about if you got a boat, we're going to put on the back, not without labor.
Yeah, but that's not the limitless possibilities was something like in swimming, and I forget when I forget when it was. I think I was like 10.
I don't remember.
I think I was like 10. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I wasn't as big, I wasn't as strong as some of the competition. And you said, look, I mean, out in this world, there are limitations, but inside your head, it's limitless possibilities.
Correct.
If you bring all the shit from the outside in,
right,
you'll start to limit and extinguish those possibilities. Right. I'm telling you, I remember it's tattooed on my arm because of that.
And isn't everything that we react to external?
Pretty much. Yeah, if we're in control of ourselves.
And I want to leave you with this. When you got out of college, this is all about, or that came back, told me the path we talked about that.
Yep.
When you first got out of college and you started at the business, I did the same thing my dad did. My dad had a welding business. I said to you, if you remember, I'm going to see how much you remember.
Oh, I remember.
You remember?
Yeah, of course.
I said to you, look, you're not going to hurt my feelings. If you don't like this,
yeah,
you need to do something else. You're not going to hurt my feelings. And you said, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
And that's how we started.
Yeah. But that's a good thing to do for a kid, actually.
Yeah. And my dad said the same thing to me. He goes, this is my path.
Right.
This is what I do. I can show you what I do. But if it doesn't interest you, you need to find your path, is really what he meant.
Totally.
And you're not going to hurt my feelings. And I think a lot of parents should say that sometimes to their kids, not only with business.
With anything.
With
sports.
Sports.
Yeah.
I have a neighbor that he's really into baseball. And he just pushes his kid.
Yeah.
Do this
Dangerous.
baseball thing.
Dangerous.
Do this baseball thing. And I can see some days he's not really into it.
What it builds is resentment, and it builds anger, and that's an additional piece that a parent does not need a kid to have on top of them.
Correct.
But the parents trying to live vicariously through the kid. Not that all parents don't try and do that. You did that. I do that.
I did it.
But you got to let a kid live their life.
Correct.
And you're the bumpers. Aaron Belke, our partner, he says this, right? You're the bumpers on the bowling lane.
Correct.
You're just keeping them in bounds, but you got to let the ball go wherever the hell it needs to on the path. You're channeling them to the pins, which is a win or a success or a failure. But you cannot hold the ball and throw the ball. You have to just be the bumpers and help them, course correct them.
That's right. The thing I did is I let you do most everything.
Yeah.
Except if I thought it was going to endanger your life or somebody else's.
Yeah. And we'll get into that in other episodes.
I really didn't have an opinion unless you asked me for it.
Right.
And then sometimes you didn't listen to it anyway.
Right. There's natural defiance.
There were consequences, right?
Right.
So,
all right, let's wrap today. This has been really cool. Everybody, thanks for listening, and make sure you send us some love, some comments. Remember, download the episode, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And, if there's something that we talked about that you love, hit us up, let us know. You want a t-shirt, let us know. Remember, keep checking the website, and then just keep watching out for our Facebook community that we're getting together. It's really powerful stuff. We've got a lot of free stuff, free coaching, free advice, just some really deep level, powerful stuff from our coaching business that we're making free for our community members and listeners of the podcast. So, Dad, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I was happy to be here.
And we'll be back on, I don't know, maybe you'll be back next month. We've been out because I've been in LA, but we'll get you back next month, and we'll finish up. We'll continue this conversation about fear and taking risks and the lessons learned, because we can go way deeper.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it, because we're going to get really deep into this thing.
Yeah, really deep. So thanks for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. If you need anything, you can always reach out. Men on Purpose at Men on Purpose Podcast on Instagram, or ianlobas.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks again for listening to the Men on Purpose podcast, where our mission is to educate, elevate, and activate every man to truly live their best, most fulfilling life possible. To find out more about the podcast, our guests, or becoming a man on purpose, visit menonpurposepodcast.com and choose your most purposeful path forward.